Hey there, YouTubers. This week's been a kind of a busy week, but we're going to try to get at least one video in. And this video really is inspired by a letter that I got from one of the viewers, a young lady named Katie Forrester, who lives in Massachusetts. And it's a question on double lip playing, which I think is pretty much in line with talking about teaching young students and getting young students to get on down the road as quickly as possible. I'd like to read some of her letter because she asked some very astute questions here. I'm going to try to answer some of them. She says, I watched your videos on YouTube about playing clarinet with double lip embouchure. I found them very helpful and I've been trying it out today, and it's improved my intonation and my playing, and the altissimo octave especially. Let's see, let's go on. Anyway, she said that she started out playing double lip with her teacher, and she stopped taking lessons, and then went to school, and the school told her to play single lip. She said, I found that awkward at first, but soon got used to it. And after watching your videos, I think I'm biting when I use single lip, so I'm going to try to play double lip again. But I have a couple questions for you. Well, first of all, I want to say, Katie, your experience is extremely common, not just among students, but it's very, very common among professional clarinet players. Now let's right on to these questions. She says, I have a couple questions for you. There must be some disadvantages to using double lip, or else everyone would be using it. Well, you would assume so, but not necessarily so. If you could outline the advantages for me more clearly too, that would be great. Okay, well, let's see if we can just stop there. More questions. Let's see if we can just address these questions right here. The first thing you asked was, gee, you know, if double lip is so good, why doesn't everyone use it? Well, you know, there's a lot of, to use a modern word, a lot of disinformation about double lip playing. A lot of erroneous things that are said, and people generally accept them carte blanche, prima facie, without asking any further questions, and just sort of put it out of their little universe as a consideration as a teaching technique or even as a playing technique. So it's kind of unquestioned factoids that have prevented double lip that have prevented double lip from becoming fairly well established. There are no disadvantages once you learn to play double lip correctly, but there are a few things that double lip is not recommended for, mainly marching. Some people have trouble standing, getting endurance to stand and play all the time. And I saw Harold Wright play many times with the Boston Symphony, one of the greatest clarinetists of the past century. Probably one of the greatest clarinetists of all time, a great musician, and he sat and played every time. He played the Mozart Concerto, and he played the Copland Concerto, and he sat and he read them. So that somehow must be a lesson to all of us. But the only tangible negatives I know are standing and marching, and you know, I don't want to jump ahead, but there are people who march in military bands that use single lip, and then they play double lip when they play in concert. So let's see. Maybe one could say that until double lip is fully developed, until it's matured, there's a feeling sometimes of instability in technical passages, especially if you're not doing double lip right, if you're not lifting and snugging all the time. Keeping a nice firm contact of the mouthpiece with the lips, then the clarinet can get a little shaky, and if you're heavy-handed, then that can also be a problem. But that's not a problem with double lip. That's a problem with your technique, and that needs to be corrected. Let's go on and talk about some of the advantages of playing double lip. There are lots of them. First, it encourages a singing style. There's a more intimate contact between you and the instrument. I mean, obviously the upper lip is a lot more sensitive than the upper teeth. So there's a lot more intimacy in terms of just controlling the instrument, and one feels like one can sing much better. It also increases relaxation, and it forces relaxation actually, because you can't slap and grab with the fingers like a lot of single lip players do, banging around on the keys, which you shouldn't do anyway. You have to relax and learn a good, secure, relaxed finger technique with that nice soft touch I've demonstrated in other videos. The other thing about stretching the upper lip under the upper teeth is it opens the throat, enables you to play with a freer sound. Not that you want to force the throat open, you don't, but many players that are biters will actually close down inside, and that really is not very complimentary to the sound. One of the things I like best about double lip is the legato, the connection from note to note, and the feeling that I can just play on the airstream, an unmodulated airstream. I remember when I played single lip, it seemed like that I would be making incremental adjustments with my embouchure from note to note to note to note, and that that may be subtle, but it still shows up in the phrasing, so it's not very cool. So anyway, that unmodulated airstream, that singing, making that beautiful shape with the air, that's one of my most enjoyable things about playing the clarinet, and I think as you progress in double lip, you'll find that it's yours too. You also have improved flexibility in tuning. You know, a lot of single lip players, they lock in with the jaw and they start biting, and they actually play very sharp. But also the jaw is locked in to center the sound, and when it locks in to center the sound, any movement in the jaw is going to make a movement in the pitch. Well, double lip doesn't work that way. You can actually move the color and shape of the sound and get more flexibility and resonance without varying pitch. So that's really one of the really nice things. They also have, most people experience that they have increased tonal resonance and tonal beauty, more freedom in the sound, and what you already said that you'd experienced, that you had a better third register, more open pitches, freer sounding pitches with more depth and a lot less stridence, especially when you get up there above the staff in the upper clarion and the lower altissimo. So those are some of the big advantages of playing single lip. Or playing double lip. One of the other things that's really a super big advantage is it improves your single lip playing.
Wow.
All the good techniques, all the good ways of interfacing with the reed and mouthpiece in playing double lip, you can transfer to your single lip playing. Double lip gives you the correct feel because it forms a natural way of controlling the reed properly. And then once you get that feel, then you can transfer it to single lip playing. So in fact, a lot of professional players that are single lip players primarily, they use double lip and they play double lip very frequently, sort of to keep them honest and to sort of remember that feel. You know, I've been told that by several single lip players over the years, and the only thing that perplexes me is that if they get that feel playing double lip and they have to go back to it to remind them, why don't they just play that way most of the time anyway?